Thin ice can be a potentially deadly problem, though.
Okay, so how do you know if it's safe? Well, our meteorologist Joe Joyce is live with the Mobile AccuWeather Lab in Walpole tonight with the answer. Joe?
Lisa and Jonathan, we're live here in Walpole in the Mobile AccuWeather Lab where we continue to monitor the live conditions. It's been cold enough the past couple days to get the ice to thicken. We're currently 35 degrees. These are the live conditions from the Mobile Weather Lab with a light southerly wind. Of course, here in Walpole at the lodge at Walpole Ponds, we have our first night of skating. Yes, they're outside enjoying this first night of the season. They also call this Mystery Pond because it is the most sheltered, shallow, and shaded pond across the region. So that allows this pond to become with a thicker ice than most area ponds are not as thick with the ice. So yes, they've measured the ice here and they're enjoying this night of ice skating while they can, keeping a close eye on the forecast for this weekend. They're going to skate while the skating is good. After 3 consecutive days below freezing, the ice has finally become thick enough to venture out onto the ice at Walpole Ponds. And even though most experts agree ice is never completely safe, there are ways of gauging the ice to make sure it is safe to go out on.
You can use a metal pry bar, you know, any type of a way to get through that ice to make sure if you're not testing the thickness of the ice, you shouldn't even be near it.
Drilling a hole deep into the ice is essential for measuring its thickness.
And we just take this device that we made here, and as you can see, we're actually climbing towards 5 now.
Another useful indicator to the thickness of ice is its color.
If you see brown spots of ice, any type of an ice that doesn't look too shiny, I wouldn't go near it.
It's hard to judge the strength of the ice by appearance alone. Here we have some white ice that's strong enough to hold me. Here it gets a little darker, still strong enough. But it's important to know that the strength of the ice can differ greatly, even on the same body of water.
So the moving water is something that you want to stay away from, because the warmer the water, the less thick the ice is going to be.
There are many environmental factors which determine the thickness of ice, but nothing is more important than the temperature.
When you're getting up to 40 degrees, now you're actually losing ice. It's an accident waiting to happen.
Well, I can't stress enough how much and how quickly things are going to be changing here this weekend, so do not take any chances on the ice. You really have to take measures to measure the ice here. If you have about 2 inches, you got to stay off of the ice. That's what most area ponds are. You get up to 4 inches, a better chance of ice skating. Of course, you're going to need several days of weeks with getting up to 8 to 12 inches of ice to get a car on it. But if you are going to measure the ice, well, this is going to come in handy, or a good old stake to measure it. Live in Walpole, meteorologist Joe Joyce, WBZ News.
Well, there are plenty of people who participate in fundraising walks and runs, but this weekend, one team is doing something they believe no one has done before.
And as David Wade shows us, when this group runs, they keep everyone's feet tapping.
If everybody was kung fu fighting.
Meet Patty Lynn and the Uke Runners.
Fast as lightning.
Training for a race to raise money to combat breast cancer.
But they fought with expert timing. This Saturday, I am running the Komen 5K for the cure, but instead of just running, I'm gonna be playing ukulele and singing with a team of 10 other people. Come on.
You may wonder why, but for Patty, it's why not.
My goal is for everyone who's racing with me or not with me to have fun.
This is the 20th year for the Komen race, with donations funding education, screening, and treatment programs.
Our goal is to raise $3,000 by race day, and we're about halfway there.
My grandmother had breast cancer too, so it's a little bit near and dear to my heart.
We're raising money, doing 2 things we all love, running and singing.
For you to call me baby.
Running more than 3 miles is tough enough, but to play and sing at the same time is a whole different thing.
It's kind of difficult to coordinate, so I practice doing really hard workouts and then trying to sing immediately afterwards, just to get used to being out of breath. I can't seem to let you go.
She made running fun by singing and being crazy. She just goes out, has a great time with everything she does.
And when this team joins 7,000 other runners at the start line, it's a great time for a great cause. I'm David Wade, WBZ News.
But they fought with expert timing.
That's awesome. It's hard enough to run.
Timing is everything, and a North Shore paraglider's timing couldn't have been worse during a flight this week. When Patrick Tarmy took to the skies on Tuesday, he was just looking to enjoy the weather.
Oops, but as Christina Hager shows us, Tarmy's flight set off plenty of alarms. When he landed, police were waiting for it.
When Patrick Tarmy flies his quirky-looking paraglider, you can bet people notice.
I was flying over the harbor, just practicing, doing some 360s and some spins.
But when Tarmy does this on the anniversary of 9/11, people call 911. Listen to Tuesday's police calls.
Are you aware of the guy that's in this gyrocopter that's flying over the Bridge Street bypass and stopping traffic, basically? Circling the depot right now with a seat with a motor on it.
Those phone calls came from people in this general area, downtown Salem, where it apparently looked like Tarmy was hovering dangerously close to traffic and city buildings here. He says it's an illusion, the difference between where he really is up here and where it looks like he is from down here.
If you're sitting on one side of the harbor, it may look like I'm over the neighborhood. The other side of the harbor may look like I'm over the city of Salem.
He says one Salem police officer didn't want to hear it, scolding Tarmy for flying near, among other things, a power plant on 9/11. He arrested Tarmy and sent him to court here, where the charge was dismissed with a $50 fine. People on the beach watching today call it overreaction.
I think he's free to do what he wants.
Freedom is what it's all about, says Tarmy, especially on 9/11. Though he says next time he'll stay far away from any city.
I don't want anybody to feel like I'm putting them in jeopardy.
Christina Hager, WBZ News.
I'm Lisa Hughes.
I'm Jonathan Elias. Also searching for the teen twin brothers who live in the area, and they have no connection to the Marriott case or her family, but they feel compelled to help look for her. Jim Smith is joining us live this evening in Portsmouth tonight. Jim?
Jonathan, it's been 2 weeks now since Lizzie Marriott vanished. Authorities here in New Hampshire continue to believe that her remains are somewhere here in the coastal waters off Portsmouth, New Hampshire. They spent all day looking, and as it turned out, they weren't the only ones.
I see the changes every day, and it's never the same.
They're twin brothers, 70 years old, who fished and swam in these waters as kids. Now Conrad and Perry McKinney spend each day walking the shoreline here at Pierce Island, hoping to find some trace of the body of Lizzie Marriott.
Like see under the bridges, I cover all the areas you wouldn't see from the air.
Conrad is also a private investigator in Massachusetts who has assisted in missing person cases before.
I'm looking under the piers, I'm looking under any little areas under where the tide comes in and out. I see the change, and I'm looking for anything.
Just around the corner, the official search intensified with divers in the water for the first time. The New Hampshire State Police helicopter was also airborne, but by day's end, they had found nothing.
I know it's like a needle in a haystack, but she's got to be out here someplace.
Perry McKinney runs the boat launch at the local marina. He knows every nook and cranny of these waters. How hard do you think it will be to find her?
It's going to be hard. It's going to be hard, mainly because of the current. I mean, when you say it's the third roughest current in the world, I mean, it's going to go someplace.
These two brothers say they'll be out here daily until Lizzie's remains are found. A coastal walk with a grim purpose.
Maybe I'll find something today that'll help me to get this on further and bring Elizabeth back home.
A short time ago, I spoke by phone with New Hampshire Associate Attorney General Jane Young. She says the search is scheduled to continue throughout the week. Investigators aren't giving up anything but. They would like to get all the information they can, not only for the case itself, but for Lizzie Marriott's grieving family. Live in Portsmouth tonight, Jim Smith, WBZ News. Lisa, back to you.
All right, Jim, thank you.